Hi, I'm Paul Wirtz. I'm a science teacher at Catherine Ferguson Academy, a school for young moms. And we are out on the farm here, and this is part of our science curriculum and homeroom curriculum. And we have horses and goats and rabbits and ducks and sheep and honeybees and apple trees and all kinds of farm stuff here. And we've built a barn, and we've got gardens behind us and a pasture. And this is part of our curriculum at Catherine Ferguson Academy.
Tell us a little bit about how this program got started, or how you became affiliated with the school.
I started here about 20 years ago, and I was hired on as a science teacher. And when I started, I went to my boss because there's a problem with animals that are kept in formaldehyde. If you're expecting a baby, it's really harmful to the baby. And she said I had to figure out a way to get our students that experience. So I suggested that we could do fresh dissections, which means keep the animals. And when it's come time to dissect, we butcher them and look at the organs and then dispose of them. And she said, go ahead and do it. And that started the animal part, and then we got into growing plants and building greenhouses and building a barn. We have a home repair class, so we do a lot of education around the farm.
Such an industrial city, I think some people are probably concerned about the health of the soil and whether there's any issues with that. Do you do soil testing? And I know you do raised beds. Can you talk about those issues?
Yes, when we started, there was issues of how good the soil is or contaminated it is. And so we had the soil tested. And Detroit is a big residential area too, not just the industrial plants on the river, but we have large subdivisions and a lot of parks. So a lot of the land is not polluted. So we are developing ways to remediate the soil. If it does test out with heavy metals or organic compounds, then we can do raised beds. So we have some raised beds over here. So we're experimenting with planting different crops that take the pollutants out of the soil and different ways to remediate the soil. So we have a lot of ideas and experiments we're working on to see how to rebuild the city and to decontaminate some of the contaminated soil.
Now, do you engage in any biodynamic gardening or any other processes to help rejuvenate the soil?
Yes, we do. We have started out by turning this over and plowing it over and putting the cinders and gravel down and bringing the good soil up. And then we're adding organic matter. We have landscapers bring wood chips and leaves, and we put those along the pathway, and that breaks down. We also take our animal manure and make compost out of that with the leaves and the leftover dirt. And so we have, in the last 15 years, we've built the soil from pretty much gravel to really good humus. So it's been a long process. So we're in the process of continuing to do it.
But it proves that it can be done, and this is an example not only on a school site, but as you mentioned, there are other vacant lots that could be revitalized to support a community.
Yeah, it can be done, and one of the things with our school of parents, we want to try to teach our students how to be self-sufficient, how to take care of themselves and their families. And food is a big issue, and it's a big issue for the planet. The planet isn't getting any bigger, so we need to look at land that traditionally hasn't been used for growing stuff, backyards, apartments, patios, flower pots, raised beds, berms in the city, vacant lots. So we need to start to look at where we can grow extra food. 35,000 children die each day on the planet, and so that should tell us something, that we're kind of short on food. So we need to start thinking about that before it affects our area, and maybe we can come up with some solutions to that.
Well, what are some of the challenges that you deal with in terms of providing water and also getting good seed?
The city is kind of a neat place to farm at, because one of the problems with farms is when you break down new ground, you got to get water to the plants. You need to access the fields by roads and stuff. And the city has all the roads, all the water. It's got drainage, so we don't have to worry about flooding. And so it's actually an optimum place to farm. And it's just that it's traditionally not done. So we are kind of breaking ground and into a new territory. And one of the issues is about 100 years ago, about 96% of the people were involved in farming and growing food. And today it's just the opposite. Only about 4% of the people involved in growing food. And that's kind of a dangerous situation, because what if something happens to those 4% of the people? What if they just quit? We would be in a serious problem in this country. So it's not just doing the farm, but also understanding what farmers have to do and the risk involved and Mother Nature. It also teaches our girls a good lesson in farming. If a hailstorm comes in and wipes out your crop, you don't sit there and try to blame somebody. You realize this is what happens, and you try it again. So our students have had some situations in their life that have set them back, and this shows them that you can try it again and be successful the next time. Learn from our mistakes and be successful.